St. Gabriel Catholic Radio is pleased to bring you this gospel reflection from Bishop Earl K. Fernandez for the 17th Sunday in Ordinary Time. From the Gospel of John, chapter 6, verses 1 through 15.
My dear friends in Christ, this Sunday we celebrate the 17th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Throughout year B, we have been listening to St. Mark's Gospel. St. Mark's Gospel is significantly shorter than the other synoptic Gospels, Matthew and Luke. Therefore, in the Church's liturgical cycle, in the lectionary cycle, for the next 4 or 5 weeks, we have an interruption with the 6th chapter of St. John's Gospel, the so-called Bread of Life discourses. John chapter 6, the first 15 verses, which we hear in this Sunday's Gospel, recounts the multiplication of the loaves and fishes, a miracle which appears in all the Gospels. In John's Gospel, Jesus is performing a number of signs. He began his signs with the wedding feast of Cana, where he turned water into wine and people began to see his glory. Vast crowds are being drawn to Jesus by his teaching, by his miracles, by his signs. And these crowds now have grown hungry. And the apostles, as usual, never bring any food with them. And so St. Philip comes to the Lord and says, how can we possibly feed this vast crowd? And Jesus says, give them something to eat yourselves. And he says, well, take 200 days' wages, an impossible amount. Now, Jesus knew what he was going to do, but he wanted to test the apostles' faith, test their resourcefulness. He definitely wanted to satisfy the hunger and thirst of the crowds. St. Andrew points out, hey, there's this little boy here with 5 loaves and 2 fish. That could hardly be enough. Except what we see is the little boy offers what he has. He places it in the hands of the apostles, who place it in the hands of Jesus, who blesses, breaks it, and gives it. And everyone has enough. All the crowds are satisfied. Nothing is wasted. 12 baskets full of fragments representing the 12 tribes of Israel. Jesus performed a miracle of love to satisfy the hunger of the people. What are we to learn from that? When we offer what little we have with great love, Jesus can make something beautiful for his Father from that. When we offer what little we have and place it in the hands of Jesus, he can multiply the graces and the blessings. We see that through this sign, the people react. They say that Jesus is the prophet who has come into this world. Jesus, last Sunday, saw the vast crowds. They were like sheep without a shepherd. Now Jesus, the chief shepherd, gives a sign that it has Eucharistic overtones. He wishes to feed the vast crowd with his body and blood. They recognize Jesus as a prophet, but they want to make him king. He knew very well their intentions. He knows what's in the heart of man. But Jesus' kingship is very different from worldly kingship. Jesus is ready to lay down his life for his flock. Jesus wants to use his authority to serve. Jesus' hour in St. John's Gospel has not yet come. That hour will come when he will undergo his passion, but it's not yet here. In the meantime, we are left to contemplate the miracle of the multiplication of the loaves and fishes, the generosity of the heart of Jesus, the mystery of the Eucharist, and we are in the Eucharistic revival year, the year now of mission. And we are invited to take what we have, to offer to the Lord, to place everything in God's hands, and trust that he will multiply the graces and blessings and transform us and transform our world.
Thanks so much for joining us for today's Gospel Reflection from Bishop Earl K. Fernandez. Please be sure to visit the Bishop's podcast page at stgabrielradio.com.